Stuff! Alright, welcome to another edition of Bry's Stuff. We're still doing a lot of records, a lot of my record collecting junk. We're going to go through soundtrack records. I'm going to do videos about my whole soundtrack collection, maybe around 500 to 600 albums I have. We'll do a few flip videos of those. Right now we're going to do the top 10 most valuable, rare, expensivest records according to the Discogs app, and that's the medium feature. So what their average is, not the high, not the low, but the medium feature. Alright, the 10th most valuable-ist record I have in my personal collection is a soundtrack for the 2013 science fiction movie with Tom Cruise called Oblivion, oddly enough. Some of you may get that. It says worth about $50, so that's why it's number 10. $50 is probably twice as much as I paid for it, so that's kind of cool. And again, I don't really collect to see values go up or down. I just collect because I like listening to them. And soundtracks, really, I collect for a few different reasons. I collect because I really like the movie. This Oblivion, I really like the movie. I really like the sounds in the movie, obviously. The soundtrack, either their songs or the score. Or I just like how the front cover looks. So this was kind of a three-fer. All three of those categories fit why I like this kind of soundtrack. And apparently it's my number 10 soundtrack that's worth the most. So, number 9 is Moon. Came out in 2009, featured one of my favorite actors, Sam Rockwell. He's really cool in it. This is worth $60. And again, it fits all three. Loved the sounds when I was actually seeing this movie when it came out. I like the cover, and like I said, it's a great movie. If I haven't seen Moon, the movie, check it out. It's worth checking out. Number 8, 2012, The Dark Knight Rises. The new Batman stuff. Well, I guess not the newest Batman stuff. The newer Batman stuff. Really good stuff. Really like the movies and the sounds coming from it. So I got the soundtrack. They say right now it's worth about $65. So it sits at number 8 in my list. Number 7, from the 1982 movie The Beastmaster. They actually made a part 2 and a part 3 if you want to really sit through something if you're really bored. But the original is really cool. It had Mark Singer and the beautiful Tanya Roberts. And this is the Japanese press. Kind of sound like a collecting snob. You know, the American press didn't have enough trouble for me, so I had to get the Japanese press. But this is a Japanese press. I just got it because the cover looked really, really, really cool, and I do have the American press, but it's the Japanese press that breaks the top 10. So this is worth $65 around, and it's sitting at number 7 on my list. 2 Star Wars movies soundtracks cracked the top 10. Star Wars, Jaws, probably the first 2, I guess, great reasons why I got into film soundtrack collecting. I just had to own those. Those are such iconic soundtracks. Rocky, Close Encounters, Jaws, Star Wars. It was really cool. That's more of like the scores too, not so much a collection of songs from other artists. So Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, sits at number 6, and it's worth around $74. This is the version of the General Grievous version. I guess it's like a red. Actually, this is one of the few albums I have that I haven't opened. Sold in the shrink wrap. I usually like to open everything, of course, but for some reason I haven't opened this yet. 2005, and I just haven't, and I may not open it. I don't know. Maybe it's worth so much someday I can buy my own Stormtrooper outfit or something. I don't know. Now, speaking about record collecting snobs kind of stuff, High Fidelity, great movie about the people that work at the music stores sometimes, the album stores and that. It starred John Cusack, John Cusack actually signed this. Got to meet him. Well, I got to say hi and then hand them this to sign it. You don't get to meet people when you're in a long autograph line, but so this actually, because it has a signature, could be sitting in the top 2 or 3 of my soundtracks, but I just went by the price of the actual soundtrack. I have this one framed because it was signed. It sits at number 5, and it's worth $75, but obviously more because it's signed. What's unique about this, although I don't know if it's unique or if all of them were orange, or I think some probably pressed in black, perhaps. But this is like an orange glowing album. And you can kill ants, I think, if you get the right ink. The other Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones, oddly enough, one of my favorites. I kind of like it. It's like an underdog movie because really People didn't like episode 1 that much, and episode 2 they're like, But I kind of liked Attack of the Clones. Soundtrack is worth around $92, so that's pretty good. A lot more than I paid for it. Came out in 2016, it's saying, and this version, which is I guess why it could be worth something, is the Jango Fett color. You kind of see that. Jango Fett. I guess if Jango Fett was an LP, he would look like that. Alright, now we're in the top 3. How exciting. Alright, for number 3, currently the average price about $115. Came out 2019 for the movie that came out a few years before that called Lost in Translation. It's got a really cool selection of songs, all kinds of artists. I also like the cover. If that is Scarlett Johansson, maybe they just hired some other stand-in model. Maybe it's Bill Murray. Maybe it's, I don't think it's Bill Murray. But Lost in Translation, like I said, about 115. It's my third most valuable soundtrack, I guess. And this is a kind of a purpley thing happening there. Purple. Of course, this had to be in there. Almost Famous. This is the promo one. A lot of very lucky people have the other version. I think it's like a brown cover. It's I don't know if it's a 2 or 4 LP version, but that one's worth even more than this one. This one's currently sitting around 125. So out of all my soundtracks, it is number 2. Almost Famous is just a great movie. I myself was hoping to be a music journalist, and I guess I was for a little bit. It's just a great story of the kind of the music industry way back when it was play shows, hang out backstage, sex, drugs, rock and roll stuff. Almost Famous, great movie. Kate Hudson, of course, on the cover there. A lot of great songs, great artists on this album. To name a few: The Who, Simon and Garfunkel, Elton John, Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, Todd Rundgren, the list goes on and on. So it's just a great snippet of rock and roll. Unfortunately, they printed, you can get the CD, but the LP they're always kind of not printing off lots and lots and lots. So that's why the price kind of went up. So this is the advanced LP. I think I said promo for the advanced LP one. Alright, drum roll. So exciting. Number one. This one I didn't get when it came out. I wasn't really on a lot of email lists about collecting albums or soundtrack albums or anything like that. And I'd always hoped that it was going to come out. And I heard that there were some versions overseas when the movie first came out and all this kind of hoopla. And then all of a sudden I read an article, I think, about the soundtrack, and that it already came out. And I was like, oh boy. So I waited on eBay for maybe 4 months or so just to see some people that were paying pretty high price for them to be happy with their albums, hopefully, and they were going to purchase any more. And then the price got pretty low on this one. So I pulled the trigger when it was about less than a third of what it's currently worth. They're currently saying it's worth about $300 USD, and that is the soundtrack of Harold and Maude. So the movie came out the year I was born, 1971. It's a great year, obviously. And then the soundtrack, this one came out in 2007, so I guess it's over 10 years old now. So it came with a 7-inch. Pretty much it's a Cat Stevens hits album. Cat Stevens is a folk singer. He also goes by Yusuf something. But it's pretty much like his hits, and then he did come up with a few original songs for the soundtrack that up until that point hadn't appeared on LP or anything like that. So it also came with a little pink 7-inch, 2 songs on it. The rumor was Elton John was first person they kind of approached to do the music for the soundtrack. He has scored other soundtrack and put songs on other soundtrack, but for some reason Sir Elton passed it up and asked, I guess, Cat Stevens to jump on in on the fun. And it's a great movie. It's a little weird, it's a little odd. It's about a kid that's kind of trying to kill himself, I guess, and he finds this really older woman to be his girlfriend, and she kind of makes him appreciate life from her view of being a little old lady. It's actually a really, really weird movie. Not a lot of people like, but I do. Harold and Maude. But anyway, the soundtrack, so this one is, I guess this color, pink and purple. It comes with a 7-inch, it's got a book, it's got all kinds of stuff. I don't really want to open too much stuff. But this is what it looks like. Like I said, it's pretty much a Cat Stevens hits album, but it's the Harold and Maude soundtrack, and it's my number 1. Whoa, number 1, around 300 or so. So it'll be interesting to see if it goes up. I kind of feeling it probably will. Some things go up and then they go down. I mean, like I said, if you're trying to collect albums to get rich, it's the wrong thing to do. Just collect them because you enjoy them and all that. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed the top 10 list, and I'll see you again with some more soundtrack records. Thanks for watching.